Ouais, c'est ça. Je pense que c'est la même chose pour moi parce que maintenant. And my friends are gonna say like, don't be a mamadora. It's like, honey, you're just taking 1 hour. I used to take 2 hours. Where they can feed themselves with a bigger meal. It's not.
I really like how honest French people are.
You do like that?
That's one of the things probably I'm scared of in life. But when
Crazy French people.
The point is, like, you will do everything but not get married.
Why?
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Masala and the
Masala, because apparently this podcast is mostly for Priyanjana when she speaks. And if you probably know Priyanjana, like in real life, she's kind of a chatty fox.
No, I speak a lot, so I'm like, should I say anything?
But come on, she's fun. She's the one who is making the fun conversations in here.
Well, because my life is so dramatic and funny. By the way, do you know? I got stuck in the laundry room last week.
The laundry room?
Yeah, the laundromat.
Okay.
So the laundromat, like, it closes at 21 hours, right?
Okay.
And so I put my clothes in the laundry room,
Okay.
like the laundromat, laverie, and I went for a run. And then I came back and I was taking out all the clothes, and I was the only person.
It's automatic? Like they close it automatically?
I had no idea. And
What did you do?
I started panicking. I called can you come and help me? He's like, but what am I supposed to? And the thing is, because before that, I lost my keys of the house, right?
Okay.
So I was like, one night I was sleeping outside on the streets. This week, I just need to sleep in the laundry room. So it's okay. I panicked and I started pressing all the buttons, and there was this one button which, like, was an emergency button. I opened that and I could go out.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was good. Otherwise, you would have stayed there
Just-
for a
I had
longer.
to- yeah.
You'd probably sleep, but probably for a longer time until somebody will have come.
Yeah, next morning, because it's already 21 hours. Do you expect anybody to come that
But
late?
you think they're gonna allow people to stay there? But we don't know. Maybe next time you try. Don't go staying close in there. Yeah. Okay, so now welcome back to another episode of Masala and
Salsa Podcast by Andrea.
Priyanjana.
So, welcome back to the podcast. And today we want to talk about how our lives have changed since we've moved abroad. And someone who's lived in multiple countries and multiple cities, how each country, each city has, added something to our lives. And, little masala, little salsa
Yeah,
has been added, and how we have changed as people to adopt into that country and that culture. So, Andrea, name 5 things.
5 things, it's a lot.
Or how do you
It's
think you have
okay.
changed since you've come to France? Like, what habits are not
Yeah,
your habit anymore?
I think since I came to France, probably is like in the morning. Most Mexicans, we used to eat like a big breakfast. Let's say it's like our main food in the whole day, right? So
No, you just have cigarette and black coffee.
exactly. And here you have to adapt to eat only pain au chocolat, croissant, like
What?
your coffee, your
What? Croissant?
croissant. And I mean, that's one of the things that you could say, like, we have changed into the eating habits. But also, I realized that I have eaten less. Well, I am eating less tortillas, which is one of our main, let's say, how you say, side dishes? Not side dishes, but like, to accompany the food. And that's 2 now. 1, 2. And then 3, I don't remember what else. But you can tell us 2, and then I will tell more.
Okay. I think for me, for sure, I've started complaining a lot more than
Oh,
I
yeah?
would. Yeah, I've become like really French in that matter. Slight inconvenience, and I'm like, like I have become like more. I used to not be this complaining, but I've become more complaining.
Okay.
Like the French. Yeah, but I've not taken it to street and started protesting right now. So that's one thing I've not done.
So you're a complainer now.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, if you knew me in India in the past, I would not complain this much as much I do now, like for small
Probably.
inconveniences.
Yeah.
I would be like, in a way, like, you know how you have to be a Karen to get your work done here?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something I have to adopt. Like, okay, the CAF did not respond. I'll have to write an email again.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not happening. I have to do it again. So that constant bothering of people so your work is done. It is something similar to India as well because you have to do it. But I think here it's more difficult because of the language problem. So
Yeah.
two, I would say I started thinking a few things in French. Like I still translate everything in my head, which is in English, and then I translate it
Yeah.
in French, or I'm thinking in Hindi and then translating it into French. But sometimes some things just come out naturally, which are French. For example, I was talking to my mom the other day, and instead of saying sorry, I just said pardon. So,
Qu'est-ce que tu as dit?
those things, I think they come up naturally to me now.
Ouais, c'est ça. Je pense que c'est la même chose pour moi parce que maintenant, comme tu veux, parfois que tu peux changer la langue comme ça.
That will be a nightmare to put in the subtitles.
Yes, but that's actually another kind of change, or like yes, because before, like 5 years ago, when I was still living in Mexico, like your normal language should be where you're coming from.
Yeah.
In my case, Spanish. But then after that, I moved to the US first, and then it changed. Like not all the time I was speaking English, but I started to switch to English like most of the time. And now in my life here in France, it's like every day to communicate, I need to speak English or French. Sometimes I'm not even using the Spanish which
anymore.
I think it's good for our status, like being here. But at the same time, it's like, and my friends are gonna say like, don't be a mamadora. It's like a person
Mamadora?
that it's like no mames. It's like you said like are you crazy? Are you like just
like we call it people like in India. I think it should also work for you. We call them coconut.
Okay.
Because you're brown on the outside but white on the inside.
No, well, there in Mexico we call these people mamadores, or probably they also have this other nickname, whitexicans, which I don't consider myself like that because I don't do it like in purpose. It just comes out naturally.
No one does it on purpose. I think
some people they do, but because they feel like I don't know different. Like
I think for us it's so difficult. Like we have to code switch all the time. That I know I have changed certain ways I speak in English because I have a strong Indian accent. But I'm saying something and a person just wouldn't understand. So I have to fake an accent so they understand. So I think it's not only about like, changing it because you think you're superior or like whatever mentality you have about Western concepts, but it is also to do with that the other person is just not understanding.
Yeah.
Like in English, like the British English, we use the word schedule.
Okay, schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now every American person, because and so like I have to constantly, when I'm talking to somebody, like, okay, I have to use the word like not schedule, like schedule. So those kind of things. And there are certain words like prepone.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist in any other language, like in English, but it's a very Indian word because it's postpone means like later, prepone means
before.
Before.
Yeah, like,
so those things don't exist. So like I have to constantly remind myself of not using these words because the other people will not understand.
Yeah.
Even the thing like third, people don't get third.
Third?
Yeah, like first, second,
third.
Like French people don't use third here for some reason. Like once, twice, thrice. Thrice doesn't exist. They're like, what does thrice mean?
Yeah.
Yes. That reminds me, like even in counting, like this has become 1, 2, and 3. Like on fingers, it's like
how you start counting, like
1.
Yeah, 1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
But since I moved here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this is 1.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And yeah, that's a third. That's a third. And another one I think is like before when I was living in Mexico, I used to do things more like in a group with a group of friends. And since I moved, it's like, okay, no one will come and, I don't know, go and walk to the shopping store or things like that. I'm gonna do it myself, because actually, like, life in US is not that easy as it seems. It's kind of difficult to find people around you, and like people that wants actually into their inner circle or closer circle. And at some point, it's also the same here. Like, French people will not adapt to you unless you speak very well the French language. Otherwise, will be kind of a pain, not pain, but difficult for you to get into those kind of circles and friendships with the other people. In my case, yeah, in my case, it's I have been kind of adapt into my boyfriend's circles.
Yeah,
But
no, I remember there was this comedian I saw who was like, "Oh, do you have any French friend?" And people go like blank, and then one person like from the crowd goes, "Ooh," and then she's like, "Not the ones you've slept with." That doesn't count.
those might not be even friends anymore. But yeah, nah, those are the difficult parts that we have faced. I think here. I don't know about you, but yeah.
No, I totally agree that becoming friends with an French person is difficult because most of them are not comfortable in English, and you are making all your effort to speak in French, but they would just be like, "Huh, huh?" Like, okay, I have an accent. Just give me a little time. So,
Yeah, or either way they switch to English. I think sometimes,
only
most
if
of
they
the
want to talk
times.
to you. If they
Yeah,
don't
that's
want to
true.
talk to you, they'll just
Yeah, they will
So,
ignore you.
yeah. So I think that's like learning a language. Of course, it's important, but I think the other thing that I've learned here is I take my lunch breaks very, very seriously.
Okay.
Like 1 hour means 1 hour. Like, I'm not going back to work.
And
Like,
honey, you're just taking 1 hour. I used to take 2 hours. Imagine what to do in 2 hours.
like there's so much time. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'm gonna come. Like, I'm gonna eat my lunch. I take a little nap. Sometimes I take a walk around the block. Some days we're doing sports. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, but also, like, like French in these kind of things, when they have like 2 hours lunch break, it's a time where they are more where they can feed themselves with a bigger meal.
Yeah.
It's not the one in the morning,
Yeah.
or it's not the one in the evening. And for me, it will be, yeah, in the morning it's a big breakfast, Mexican, and then in the lunchtime it's we don't even eat at 12, or we probably eat like at 3, and it's the main one also, but it's until 3.
Yeah.
And then later on in the evening is like a bread with some milk and something light, just for going to bed. That's in my case. Make them vary different
Yeah.
families and stuff like that, but that's like that. And also, when I was in the US, it was also different. Like, the main meal for me was for dinner, so it's like, at what time do I have to make my bigger meal, like the main one. So yeah, different things have changed.
Yeah, I think that's a little different in India because, again, in India, we also eat very late. And again, it varies from your family to family situation. But I've always like, because when I was a kid, I used to wake up early. I had basketball in the morning, and then I had school. So I would generally skip breakfast. I just would have milk and go for like my game and like study and whatever. And so then my actual breakfast would be around 10:30 according to the school break.
Okay.
But since I moved for my university, I moved to another city. So then again, it was like 8 in the morning breakfast, 12 at lunch. So it became a habit. So now I feel really awkward because I feel like an old woman. I eat dinner at 6:30 in the evening. And but the French people, for them, dinner is at 8.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes so difficult because I like, if I'm going to somebody else's house for dinner, but I'm already hungry at 6:30, so I'm just going to
Yes.
have a little something before going.
Yeah.
Like the other day, my landlord, he invited me for dinner, and he was making duck. It's going to be a heavy meal, and I'm like, okay. He invited us at 8:30. I am hungry at 6:30, so I just ate like a second dinner,
Yeah.
like a first half dinner, kind of
Mhm.
like, because here they have the concept of goûter, which I like. Of course, we also have it in India, but I just never did it because I would always eat early, even in India. Like, unless I'm living with my parents, then I have like 4 meals. But if I'm living alone, I generally have 3 meals.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's another. I think that's a different. That's another change that we have experienced.
yeah. Also, I
When
think
we've been
it has
abroad.
not to do with France in particular. I think it is us because we don't like cooking. So
Yeah, that's true. No, but I mean, we don't like cooking, but I'm learning cooking now.
yeah, I mean, again, but if you have to cook 4 times, let's just have like
Yeah,
3 meals and be done with it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I've also become more independent, as you mentioned, like doing things alone. Like before, I mean, I would do things alone, like I've gone for movies alone and, those things alone. But going to group events alone, I would always be scared. Like if I'm going to a concert or something, in India, I would not feel that secure to do it. But here, like the other day, I went for the parade. I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to go alone. Like, I think in that ways, I'm becoming more independent and more confident about things that, oh,
Yeah.
I can do things alone. Like, it's going to be all right.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
So,
Wait.
but these are like the things that we've adopted in our thing. But what are the things that you actually like about the French culture that, you wish people back home would also follow?
One thing that I really liked and like I see that is very nice from the French government is like every first of the month, no, every Sunday of
First,
the
every
first
first Sunday
Sunday
of the
of the
month.
month, all museums are free. Like you
Yeah.
have to pay. So and I think
You don't have to pay.
yeah. What did I say?
You have to pay.
No, you don't have to say. You don't have to pay. And that's cool. I mean, you can go, like, if you live here, you can take advantage of those timings and then just go and visit the
Yeah.
museums here.
And for people under 26, it's like most museums are free.
Yeah.
Like you can go to Louvre and all these places for free.
So those kind of things are really cool.
Yeah.
And
Even
also-
I think with like, the how they promote traveling,
Mhm.
that the train tickets, the passes,
Oh, yes.
everything is half the price. And it's nice that they don't consider 18 as the age, but 26.
Yes.
Because, 18, you're still a kid. Like you've not even started earning, or like in university, you don't have an income. So it makes
Yeah.
sense that you consider 26 as that age.
Yeah, that's good for you.
You guys don't know what age I am. And she's younger than me, so
So yeah, that's one of the things that I really like about the living in France. What else? What have you adopted?
I think I really like how honest French people are.
You do like that?
I actually like that. I know it's a little controversial and, unpopular opinion, but I think I prefer the idea of somebody being blunt to my face than like, faking it up for me.
Well, yes, I think I would prefer that also instead of someone talking your back.
Yeah. So, like I think how French people, they generally, like if you ask them something, generally the first response would be "c'est pas possible." Like they start with a no, and that is something that I would like to adopt in my life. That okay, I'm not doing it. Give me reasons first. Like, but I like how honest they are. Like if they see something wrong, they're going to say it and speak it out. I think that's really important. Especially like in India, we come from a very hospitable culture, and you're like, oh, everything you say, the guest
Yeah,
is
that's why I'm
God.
asking you if you like that because us like being that warm and stuff is like okay. In order for me to tell you what I really think about you and this and that, I need to elaborate my phrases and like to make it look like not that very rude. Let's say, but French people is not like that.
That's something what I like. I'm not sure if everybody agrees with me. I think most people will be like, no, we should be more like Americans and sugarcoat things. But for me, I just prefer it because it's you're already in a different country. There, you don't get the language, you don't get the culture. Maybe they're making a joke. You wouldn't get those things. So it's just better to be blunt and say things outright. Like for me, I would prefer that. So at least I'm not caught and like I'm not sending screenshots of my chat with my crush to Chat GPT that analyzes it into me. Like just tell me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. That's up to everyone, but
Yeah, but that's something
I don't think I prefer those kind of things.
But like I wouldn't say like be 100% blunt, but I think maybe you could just be a little more honest because French people are honest, not rude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But I would prefer that.
Yeah. Okay. As you wish, my friend. And okay, those are kind of some of the things that we have that you have adopted. But what are the ones that you don't like?
I would say smoking. Like the culture of smoking here is
Oh.
way too much. Like, okay, the one thing that I like good about France is like, people take stops, they break, they have very slow living. That is amazing that, you take break every 1 hour, you go for an apero, you have an after work, after like working, you go to a place, you drink
Mm.
together. Like those things are nice. But those breaks include smoking, and people they just smoke everywhere, like on the streets, and then now the vaping culture. I think it's more like a global thing, but particularly in France, like I'm just walking past, and like in India, of course, people smoke, but then there's also like a little shame attached to it, and they're designated smoking rooms or like.
Mhm.
But here, people just smoke like in the streets, just like that, and I just feel it very annoying that I don't want to get your passive smoke into my body. Like, don't do that.
A passive smoker.
Yeah, like I've become such a passive smoker. Like I'm passing by, and just the smell
Yes,
of
yes,
it,
yes, yes.
and people like they just do it. And as young as like 17, 18-year-old kids smoking, I'm pretty sure that's not good
Yeah,
for
but you
health.
know that now there's gonna be this new rule, like it's gonna
Macron
be
listens to me. Are you listening to the
forbidden.
podcast?
It's gonna be forbidden to smoke on the outdoor areas, no? I think,
Yeah.
or on the restaurants outside,
Yes,
restaurants and
something
stuff
like
like
that.
that.
But I think it's really important because to have that, this it's not good for your health, and
Yeah.
especially with the pollution which keeps increasing. And France, it takes so much pride in like, oh, we
Yes.
we have the French, like the Paris Convention.
Mhm.
We are like sustainable. I think these
Mhm.
things also matter a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, well, yeah. Speaking about like another habit that we probably have adopted is running.
Yeah,
Like people here is a lot of them might be smokers, but
yeah,
also it's like I know few that they smoke, but they also go and run every day, and they have like they can do like long runs and
yeah,
marathons and stuff like that.
yeah,
And it's something like at least in Mexico, I didn't used to see this very much people running on the streets. I mean,
yeah,
once because it's not that safe, but
yeah,
it's still like if you go to the park or like
yeah,
to a safe place to run, it was not there. Like running people there, probably not only on the in the gym,
yeah,
but here is like you can just grab your tennis shoes and go run on the street at any time, and it
yeah,
will be okay. So that's
yeah.
a
Not
good. That's a
okay.
good. Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, it depends where you're running, right?
I mean,
Because
do you remember that one time when I was running and this man just scared me?
that's what I'm saying. But one in a million cases, probably.
I'm just running, and instead of he could have catcalled me. He could have like taken my phone or like mugged me. What he decides to do is like I'm running, and this random man comes near my ear and just
Yeah,
who
yeah,
does that?
crazy French people. But yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, and also I think
Also,
like even gym memberships here they're not very expensive. Like if you compare it, like I'm not saying compare it to your home country, but like in standard wise, like the amount of money you will pay for a month of gym membership, it's almost like how much you'll pay if you go out drinking one day.
yeah.
So I think I like how sports is just adopted into their lifestyle, that those things are included. Like in India, people would go to gyms, but having like, oh, your gym membership is included in your perks from work, that would not happen. But here, most places that you work, they're like sports or work, um, your gym, these things are included.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't think of it as like a rich people thing. It's just adopted in our culture that everybody works out.
Yeah. Yeah, that is yeah. So those are the things that we liked. And the smoking part is I'm also with you. Like I used to be a smoker. I hope my parents doesn't listen to this podcast. I mean, not that of I'm dying if I'm not smoking, not like that. But then I just like this is not giving me any good things, to life.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But you would like the French people not to be that rude.
yes. I mean, I have I have had these conversations with my boyfriend. Like, if you look into what you're saying in English to me, you will see like it's kind of rude because sometimes they don't.
Yeah,
I don't
your
know,
boyfriend is rude no matter. Like it's
You
not a friend.
think? No,
You know what he said to me the other day?
but because it's you.
Because it's me.
Well, he said about the
No, no,
message.
no, that I should lower my standards
Ah,
because I am not amazing.
but that's for him. That's not being rude. He's being
Honest.
a joker.
Yeah.
Only.
It was such a mean comment. I'm like, what do you mean?
Well, you like people to be honest, no?
Yeah, but that was not honesty. That was just somebody being mean.
I mean, the other guy also told the same.
Who?
The other guy. Anyways,
I think another thing that I really like about France is how like the older people are also very empowered. Like the elderly, they live separately by themselves and they do things by themselves. I think it's because of sports they've been doing as kids that they're very independent. Like I would go around and I would see like, 70 years old ladies sitting at the terrace of the bar just drinking on a Wednesday night because why not?
yeah, if they are in good health, because there is other elder people that is, I don't know, I just see them on the streets like struggling with their, how you call this,
Walker?
not crunchers,
Yeah.
walker, and it's like that's how French people live here with no one like could maybe come with them and go somewhere with them, like
Yeah.
accompany them. Like in Mexico, it's like my grandma, she can walk and everything, but also it's like we are there. I mean, I'm not there, but people is there for her to go if she needs to go somewhere with her.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the thing that I actually don't like.
Yeah.
Like people live so far away from their families,
Yeah.
and they don't even care about much about their parents. Like it might depend by family, but yeah, I feel like in my case, I feel like if I stay here for like, I don't know, the rest of my life, and if
Your
I
kids
stay
will
like
not talk to you.
yeah, it's like that's one of the things probably I'm scared of in life.
And when you die,
I
you will
grew
not
up,
have your
yes,
grandchildren.
dying alone.
I think that will be me with like few cats and dogs. Yeah.
No,
No.
I don't like that. So, but
No,
yeah,
I mean I don't like that either, but it looks like that is going to be my life.
come on, you're still young. But yeah, and also, like religion things in like how people is like some is religious and probably they want to get like married and stuff, and some others are like, I know we're just gonna be living together. That's
Yeah,
it.
this is something that I've seen. Like, why do French people not want to get married? Like, okay, if you've not found somebody, I get it. Like, you value your independence and stuff like that. But you've been with that person for like 5 years, 6 years. You even get things called pacts that, like, with the government. But you don't want to get married. Like, make it make sense.
I mean, Pax probably only works for internationals, and if French people are, yeah, getting married. No,
No, French people can, with each other get pacts. Like, if both partners are French.
yeah, that's true.
But my whole point is, like, you will do everything, but not get married.
Yeah,
Like for us, like I come from a culture where marriage is a huge thing. Like weddings are like 3 days long. Like if you don't want to get married, I get it. Like that's a separate issue. Like, okay, I don't want to be married. I want to be single all my life. I don't believe in the institution of marriage. You are together for so many years. You do everything together. You live in the same house. You have concubinage. You have pacts and everything. But you don't want to put a label like get married. Like what is this with French people?
I think it's mostly because of the type of. I mean, it depends, no, but one thing that I've noticed is most people don't want to get married, like legal marriage, because it's a lot of paperwork. And like
That's probably the stupidest reason I've ever heard. Like, I don't want to fall in love because I know it will break my heart.
what?
Yeah, it's as senseless as that.
Yeah, that is there, but
It's
also
just because you don't want to get married because of paperwork.
like yes, I don't know.
It's just senseless. Like, have they? Oh yeah, these are French people. They don't have to apply for visas.
Yeah, and that's one thing. And also, like, I mean, it depends if you come from a very religious family, then they will probably tell you like yes, like traditional stuff like marrying and all of that stuff. But for me, Mexican religious Catholic, it's like I mean, it's not like a must, and it's my decision to make. But I I I would like to get married, like
In a church,
Yes,
not in a marriage.
that too also, but but that's something that it's. I don't know. I'm just having like these internal fights. Like, should I or should I not? Not because I'm gonna get or something, but at some point, it's like you start just thinking about like that. Um,
Guys, welcome to another segment called Andrea's Intrusive Thoughts. So instead of going to therapy, she will be using the podcast
okay.
to talk about her internal fights. And you can in the comment, let us know.
You Monopoly, you will have to pay for this. Anyways,
Please.
anyways, going back to the topic before we wrap up. Yeah, I don't know why French people is like that. Something else to add?
No, I mean, I honestly don't get it. Like, if you're in love, you should get married.
But
Like,
why? You cannot just live with your partner even if
Like,
you're
what-
in love.
what are you waiting for? Like, not to have?
Not to have.
Like, why do you not want to get married? Like, for me, if I don't want to get married because I've not found a person who I want to be
Yeah.
married with. But if I found somebody and I think, like, I have done enough in my life, I wouldn't mind getting married to that person.
Okay, we need to find that person for this lady.
Yeah. which is a bigger task. Yeah. And then, but for me, like, it's also different because at least you are Catholic, you're Christian. So my religion is completely different. So
Yes. Yeah. I don't know.
yeah, but yeah, it's a huge thing, which I don't get, but maybe in another episode we could talk about,
Just
how-
maybe. We're not sure we're gonna talk about this. This is too personal.
yeah, like, no, I was saying we could talk about the different kind of marriages.
Oh yeah.
Not your marriage, Andrea.
I'm not even. No, that's not even on the talks.
Like, that's not I mean, in another episode, if you guys think that we should talk about it, like the differences between Indian weddings, French weddings, and Mexican weddings, we could shed our lights. Not because we are invited to a lot of French weddings, because there aren't any.
Yeah.
But we could talk about, how it's different for
Yeah.
all the cultures. And
Oh, darling, I think you're gonna get that episode for yourself. Yeah, because you know how weddings in India are.
Yeah.
It's like 3 days, 5 days of wedding. But anyways, let's wrap it up. And thank you so much for watching our podcast once again. See you next Thursday, and don't forget to give thumbs up.
we drop every new episode every Thursday. So follow us and à la prochaine.
See ya next. Bye.